question is, what are exponents anyway? And we have to go back a couple of steps to explain this and go back to addition. So if you consider adding together a handful of 4s, let's say 5 of them, we can line up all our 4s together like this and use this notation or this way to write things. Or we can say, well, this is really 5 copies of 4 added together. And how we say 5 copies of 4 added together is like this, or we use the teeny weeny x. So 5 copies of 4. Using 5 times 4 is very clear because it's 4 listed 5 times. So this makes sense to say 5 times 4. It's multiplied because it's over and over and over and over, and that's what it means to be multiplied over and over and over and over. So this is where we get the term multiplied and times. Similarly, if we take a handful of numbers multiplied together, so notice these are all the same, so that's why we can say 5 copies of 4. Here we have 4 copies of 3. So if we did 4 copies of 3, we go, uh-oh, but this means 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, right? So this is not going to fly for this thing. So instead we need some other way to say this, or to note it like this. So we want a shorthand for this guy. So we can say we want 4 copies and put it on the top. We can make some sort of weird little packaging and say 4 copies. This doesn't really reduce the amount of writing though, does it? We can do 4 copies. So this is all notation. It's just the way to write something. And none of this is really any easier than this. So instead, we say, well, how about if I do like a sticky note? If I stick a sticky note on it. Say 4 copies. Here's my little sticky note. Curl my edges up a little bit. This is my little sticky note. Whereas this goes in the front as a sticky note, this goes up in the corner as a sticky note. So I can say 4 copies of 3. And because it's in a different position than the multiplication here, I know that this means that this is 4 copies of 3 being multiplied. Let me compare this exactly with 4 copies of 3 here, because I kind of squished it up here. 4 copies of 3 here is 4 copies of 3 added, and 4 copies of 3 here is like this. What should have happened was this. We didn't invent the notation to be the 4 on this side. Notice 4 times 3, 4 copies of 3. This doesn't read in the same direction. You have to go backwards. 4 copies of 3. This would have been much better. 4 copies of 3. Alas, we were not hired to invent math, so we don't get to use that. But that would have been really nice. And that's what exponents are. Anyway.